The FBI is now involved after investigating two power substations in Moore County, North Carolina. They got shot up in an act of sabotage this weekend.
Yeah, the shootings happened just an hour from Raleigh and caused more than 33,000 Duke Energy customers to lose power. Right now, investigators are working to determine a motive, but they do know the attack was targeted. Duke Energy warns restoring power could take days, making life challenging until Thursday. Meanwhile, a state of emergency has been declared while the FBI, state, and local officials investigate.
News Center 7's John Bedell spent the day looking into what can be done to keep this from happening in our area. John's live in Kettering.
James and Cheryl, Duke Energy is headquartered in Charlotte, but they also, as many people know, provide electricity to a lot of folks here in Southwest Ohio. And after these incidents at substations, just like the one here in Kettering, this one's run by AES Ohio, I reached out to our local electric utility companies to ask what they're doing to protect our power grid here in the Dayton area.
Here in the Miami Valley, most people get their electricity through one of three companies: Duke Energy, AES Ohio, or Ohio Edison, a First Energy company. I reached out to all three companies Monday. First Energy told me they are not sending crews to North Carolina to help with power restoration work, and said in a statement, "We're constantly using real-time monitoring to detect any potential physical or cybersecurity threats to the grid," adding, "A wide variety of surveillance, deterrence, physical, and technology measures are in place." During a virtual interview Monday, here's what AES Ohio told me when I asked whether they are sending any crews to help get the power back on in North Carolina.
We have not been called up at this time.
I also asked AES Ohio the same thing I asked Ohio Edison and Duke Energy. What kind of work do they do to protect their grid and make sure what happened in North Carolina this weekend doesn't happen here in the Miami Valley? Company spokesperson Marianne Cable told me they partner with local, state, and federal agencies to protect the physical and cybersecurity of the company's resources and assets. She said they plan and run through exercises that help them protect against all kinds of potential physical or cyber threats.
It's critical to have these exercises. We perform them regularly, and just as important is to update them, because all of those variables in terms of the attacks and threats change.
I reached out to Duke Energy today, and a spokesperson told me they're hoping to be able to do an interview tomorrow to better answer some of the questions we had today. We'll stay in touch with them and bring you any new information we get from them. We're live in Kettering this afternoon. I'm John Bedell, News Center 7.
Thanks, John.